How's it going, everyone? So last week I had an absolutely amazing week from 10-3 to 10-7, 5 for 5, all green days, made $13,482, and I traded Tesla, SPY, and AMD. And remember, I'm an options trader, so that's all that I traded. And most of that P&L came from Tesla, especially the Monday, because it had that really big gap down. It had the negative news. I took full advantage that day. I have a YouTube video going over that specific trade recap. It's the one where I made, I think, about $5,500, so you can watch that. And then I'll quickly go through some of the trades that I took and just my takeaways from the overall week. And one main reason why I want to do this is because I know there's been a lot of people that have been following me for a very long time, and I feel like this was a really big step forward in my journey. I've been doing this for almost 6 years. So it just shows kind of the reality of trading and expectations. A lot of people online make it seem like you make millions of dollars really quick in the stock market, and that is not the case. I am not a millionaire. I make a good living, but you can see that this kind of week is a fantastic week, but I've been doing it for 6 years, so it took me a very long time to get to this point. Now, I'm sure some people can get there quicker, but I've talked to a lot of traders, and I feel like the overall average is that it takes about 3 years to get consistent, and it's not making millions of dollars. It's making a living, and then it's slow progress and getting better each and every day. And this is not the norm. I don't make $13,000 every week. I would say the average is maybe a few grand, but I traded 20 contracts on all my trades just so you get an idea of the size, and volatility really picked up, so I took full advantage, and that's why the P&L is there. So now let's take a look at the statement so you know it's legit. I use Lightspeed, that's my broker, and here's the weekly statement. So activity for all retail trading accounts between 10-3 and 10-7. Here's my name, the P&L, $13,482.95. The $23 is the market data and the options data that gets deducted from my account every month. And as far as commissions goes, generated $272 in commissions and $21 in fees. And some people may ask, why do I pay commissions? Because there are other brokers where you can trade for free. The reason why I'm willing to pay commissions is because Lightspeed is one of the best brokers out there, in my opinion. The platform is incredibly reliable, and I get fantastic executions. So I'm willing to pay a little bit to make sure that I have that reliability. I want peace of mind knowing that when I click the buy button or the sell button, I can get in and out quick and I don't get stuck, or it doesn't lag and take forever to fill my orders. So when it comes to the bigger picture, making $13,482 and only paying about $300 in commissions and fees is not a big deal to me. Okay, so now you saw the results of the week. Now I just want to highlight something because I know in the comments, I'm going to get a ton of questions about the type of contracts I'm trading, expiration, the stocks that I trade, all of that. So in order to fix that, I created a day trading options guide that answers all of those questions that I've gotten over the years on social media. It's a 62-page downloadable PDF. This is the first page. And as far as the table of contents, this is everything that I go over. It's my entire process, all trading related, and everything that I do when it comes to the market each and every day. I tried to cover absolutely everything based on the questions that I've received over the last years of being on social media that I get on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it is. I make sure to go over day trading expectations, my trading mindset, trading taxes, how I trade options, my rules that I listen to that allow me to be consistent, how I find stocks to trade, my top-down approach, volume, position sizing, and then some of the more important things, my favorite daily chart patterns, my favorite intraday chart patterns, favorite intraday technical levels, and then examples of all of them. And the really good thing with this is I have it in written form, but as you go through this guide, I have links to my YouTube channel with a video that goes specifically over that topic with more examples. So I really try to cover it full circle as far as writing it down. And then once you get the idea of what I'm doing based on that specific topic, you can click on the video, go listen to me talk further in detail about it, and show examples. This will clarify a lot of things if anybody has a question about how I was able to generate these kind of returns. If you're interested in getting access to this, there's going to be a link in the description below. Now to go over the actual trade. So let's start with Monday. I do have a trade recap on this, but I'll quickly go over it. So this was the news where Tesla missed deliveries, or deliveries came kind of under the expectations of analysts. So it had a big gap down. It broke a major area of support. So I thought that there could possibly be continuation to the downside. This is a 2-minute chart. The very first candle closed weak, closed red, tried to bounce a little bit. Sellers took control. So I took it for the 2-minute downside opening range break. Got a nice move, took profits, and being that there was elevated volume, I really thought this could continue, so I shorted the first pop, and then when it made a new low, that's where I took profits. I was 2 for 2 on the day, and I called it a day because I was up $5,500, which is fantastic. And then now Tuesday the 4th, so I ended up trading Tesla just because it's my favorite stock to trade, and after a really volatile day the prior day, figured it would be in play. Took a couple trades on it to the long side, and I just couldn't get much going. I was actually slightly red on the day, and I was going to call it a day. I normally only trade the first 60 minutes, but I happened to be home when the news came out with Elon possibly buying Twitter again, and Tesla started to sell off aggressively, and I actually took a quick scalp as it kind of broke this VWAP, just going with the flow of the trend, realizing that news may not be great for Tesla, because if he's working on Twitter, then he might be spread a little too thin, and realizing that a lot of people above 253 are now stuck. So I just rode the momentum, and it was very aggressive move to the downside. So I got a quick move in my favor. I was in the trade for a very short amount of time, took profits, and then called it when I was green. So this just happened to be a unique news situation that kind of saved the day. Otherwise, it was going to be a very small red day for me. And now Wednesday, October 5th. So still focusing on Tesla because it was very volatile. So I just figured it would be in play for a handful of days and also have elevated volume. So what happened off the open here? This is a pattern that I talk about all the time, and one that I really highlight in my day trading options guide, downside opening range break. The first move off the open was higher, but looking at the daily chart, it's still very weak, consolidating below the 9 EMA. Also realizing that this 242 is kind of a big support area. So if it broke that, then we could probably see lower prices. So had the push off the open, and then very quickly, sellers took back control, got below the VWAP and the 9 EMA, anticipated the downside opening range break, got a nice move in my favor, and took profits. And sure, it continued lower, but I'm a big fan of scalping in and out quick, especially when I can take 20 contracts on Tesla and I get that quick move. That can be really nice P&L. So I just walked away and called it a day. And then Thursday, October 6th, I actually took a couple trades on this. So realizing that the overall trend on Tesla is weak. So I really want to focus to the downside. But it has the personality where it can bounce, and when it goes in one direction, it can keep going, even if it's just for a day. So really just trying to focus on the patterns that I highlight in the day trading options guide. What happened off the open? Big, strong push, held the indicators that I like to look at, the 9 EMA and the VWAP, formed a bull flag. I actually took this, pulled back a little bit, did not make much on this. I think it was basically a flat trade, and then I just patiently waited. And then what happened? The trend started to show, got below the 9 EMA, broke below VWAP, and then when it broke that low a day, just going with the overall trend on the daily chart, I took it for the low, got a really nice move, and took quick profits. And then when I was nicely green, I just walked away. I'm a big fan of less is more, and especially the first trade that I take if I can't get a lot going, and then I take a really nice setup on the next one, and I can be green on the day, I'm usually taking my hands off the keyboard and walking away because I don't want to mess a good thing up. And then Friday, October 7th, this was the trade that really made the day, so I took two other trades. I tried to short AMD, just was not that clean, ended up starting to bounce, so I got out. I actually lost $750. Then I tried to trade on Tesla, got out flat. So I was red 750, but then I patiently waited and I looked at SPY, and it was starting to consolidate real tight below the VWAP and the 9 EMA, a nice opening range right here. And then what did it do? It broke that range to the downside, realizing that the trend overall has been really weak. So just trying to go with the flow of the price action. The path of least resistance is going to be to the downside. And then when it broke that low, I ended up taking it to the short side, got a really nice move in my favor, took profits pretty quickly, and then at that point I was up about $1,400 on the day. And like I always talk about before, when I'm struggling a little bit off the open, I can't get a lot going, and then I wait for a nice pattern, I take full advantage, and I'm green on the day, and especially on a Friday, that's what I'm going to call it. I don't want to screw a good thing up. So that was just a recap of the overall week and then some of the trades that I took. I didn't show every single one, but as far as the patterns that I like to focus on, they're all going to be everything that I talk about in that guide. It's going to be bull flags, bear flags, opening range breaks to the upside and the downside. And that's all that I traded. Those are the only patterns that I focused on, and I was able to make $13,000 just trading those. But remember, it took me a very long time to get to this point, a lot of experience, understanding the spots that I like to take trades, executing well, and then not over trading and giving money back. It ended up being a phenomenal week, and I really just wanted to share that with everyone to show what is possible with a long time dedicated to the stock market, understanding what you're doing, not trying to gamble, not wanting to get rich quick, figuring out a process and a system that works for you, and then executing well each and every day. So that was the weekly recap. I appreciate you watching the video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just want to talk about a couple cool things that I have to offer. The first is going to be my newsletter watch list. This is exactly what I post on my private Twitter 30 minutes before market open every single day. I do a quick analysis of the overall market, the SPY and the Qs, if there's any major market news that day, and then all the stocks I'm interested in watching, it's usually 4 or 5, if there's any major news tied to them, and all the levels that I think are in play. to the left, this is exactly what I'm posting on my private Twitter. I make sure to add that newsletter. I take a screenshot of the charts, green line to the upside being long, red line to the downside being short, and I make sure to highlight those two levels above. This is everything that's going on in my mind and my game plan going into each market open. Also, I make sure to add a little mental note because every day is slightly different, and here's an example of that. And if you want something that's a little bit less of a commitment, I do offer a live one-on-one call for 1 hour. This is where you can ask me questions about my journey, go over setups specifically, everything that I've gone through as a trader. Whether you're beginner or advanced, this is a great way to connect with me. So if you're interested in my private Twitter or the one-on-one live call, feel free to go to callmattdiamond.com or check out the links in the description below.